Hi everybody, JJ with Experiences My Dog, and are you looking for a, let's say, safer way to be able to give your dog chews like a bully stick? Well, I've got something pretty interesting for you with this guy right here from Bow Wow Labs, the Bully Buddy. So let's find out about how this actually is gonna potentially save your dog's life and ultimately provide you a better experience when you feed a bully stick to your dog. So as you guys know, here at Experiences My Dog, we're big advocates of providing your dog chews. They really provide a huge number of benefits in terms of just giving you, of course, nutrients, vitamins and minerals, engaging your dog, helping to clean their teeth, physically exercising them because of the motion and the actual exertion that they actually have to go through. It can actually improve their mood because you can actually have your dog release endorphins. It's called like a chew high when they're actually doing that. Overall, there's a huge number of positives, but there are some potential negatives that can actually happen. And specifically with bully sticks, one of the disadvantages you have to keep in mind is that endpoint. Essentially, as your dog is chewing through a bully, at the very end, there's going to be an endpoint or a nub. You know, it can really vary, but you're probably talking at least maybe about something like an inch to maybe up to words of like 3 inches that your dog's going to have to end up chewing. And some dogs are going to be, I'd say, better at being able to take that in, you know, and spread that out across, you know, their initial molars, and then let's say their back-oriented molars, and actually be able to chew through it so that it can fully be digested and not have any problems. But some other dogs might maybe really quickly try to, you know, scarf it down. In that type of situation, you can run into some type of obstruction in their throat or their trachea, and that could be problematic. You know, your dog might regurgitate it or vomit it. It could get kind of stuck. It could get lodged, and you know, you might actually have to execute some form of, you know, CPR or maneuver to help to kind of dislodge it, or you might have to get your dog to the vet. And this does actually happen. It's not, I'd say, super widespread, but there are, you know, from my understanding and from the information that's put out there, you know, there's thousands of cases of dogs that do have these type of issues. And as we know, definitely just in chewing objects in general, especially when you get to more synthetic-based toys, that significantly increases is this likelihood of kind of having something be lodged. And so what has kind of happened, I think, throughout the pet owner community is that, especially from pet owners and dog owners that give their dogs bully sticks, is that they've gone ahead and kind of made a makeshift solution for some of them to give their dogs a bully stick, and then they'll attach some type of endpoint, usually some type of like a plier to that endpoint, and then give that to their dog, because their dog hopefully is essentially not going to eat essentially a metal object. They're going to eat the entirety of the bully stick and then leave that portion alone. But what Bow Wow Labs did is, this is a new company that actually went through a crowdfunding process to be able to have this initial product be designed. And this is actually their second generation version of it. And it will actually come in quite a number of sizes, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But essentially what this is what they call their Bully Buddy. It's a way of allowing you to go ahead and put the bully stick into this. And then there's a very novel approach where they actually kind of have this pin that can be ratcheted to adjust for different sizing, for different thicknesses, and that will allow you to essentially limit access to that endpoint or that nub of the bully, so that when you give this to your dog, they can actually go ahead and chew away at the entirety, the majority of the shaft of the bully, but not actually chew the nub. And I can definitely tell you, I've tried it out and it does legitimately work. And compared, I think, to their first generation design, this is actually a better design in terms of ergonomics and overall accessibility. One, they've designed something that scales across different sizes really well. They do manufacture this, I think, all the way to around dogs that are going to be around 10 pounds and all the way up to very large size breed dogs, so over 90 pounds. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of getting the right bully buddy to account for your dog's size. And that's really important because you want to make this object generally larger than what the dog could ever try to swallow. I mean, I still think there's a little bit of factor that you have to kind of keep in mind in relation to this being potentially like an object that your dog might view a little bit as a chew toy, but in most situations, because this isn't flavored, this is generally just nylon, they're hopefully not going to want to chew on this. They're going to want to, of course, chew on that bully, which is really what's driving their interest. But it's very simple, it's effective. You slide it in there, tighten it down, and then you give it over to your dog. And the thing that I like from that ergonomic perspective is that your dog will generally be able to kind of position this kind of more naturally. If you've ever looked at a dog when it's eating a bully stick, they'll generally kind of try to hold it with their paws and adjust it, and then they'll angle it in their teeth. They'll kind of do different things, and they can still do that here. They can kind of hold this down, they can put one paw here, they can push, they can move, and because it's actually spherical, it'll roll, it'll move around, which is also nice because it gives it that flexibility of kind of moving and adjusting to how your dog might want to work with it, while also still giving them kind of a base where it might not accidentally kind of move or jostle. So it's very straightforward. You know, there's not really a huge amount to kind of go into in terms of the specifics of this, because it's just something that's designed to be a safety mechanism to be able to prevent your dog from getting that endpoint, like I said, lodged when they're consuming it. But I think it works really, really well in that regard. Now, as I noted, it does come in multiple sizes. If you check out the Bully Buddy website, you'll see, as I noted, that it goes everywhere from about 10 pounds to over, like I said, 90 pounds. There's like a small, medium, large, extra large, and then I think there's even like a double XL, depending on the breed type. This one I think is the XL based version, so it's actually a little bit more suited for 60 to 75. I went with a little bit of a higher. All our dogs are underneath 60 pounds. They're all generally going to be somewhere between about 50 to just a little bit less than 60. So I could have actually just gone, I think, with the traditional large, but I just went over with a little bit larger, also to help to complement the fact that MODOK has a bigger head, and so sometimes I like having something that's a little bit broader and wider, so I think it's complementary to them. They all come in this same exact color, and the main differentiation point will be right here, the turn mechanism, which is actually how you adjust the pin. So this pin right here, which is what holds the actual bully stick in place, essentially you just turn it to either allow it to loosen up or to tighten down, and then from there you go ahead and you give it to your dog. So it's pretty straightforward, and like I said, I've tried it out and it's worked really well, and I haven't had any problems with it. It is dishwasher safe, so that is nice, so that if you do want to put it into the dishwasher, I mean, for me, I think I would probably just hand clean it and then dry it off that way. But there's no kind of areas that you have to worry about anything kind of seeping in or anything like that. And while I would love to see, you know, a sustainable plant-derived material, even if it was a plastic, so whether it's going to be maybe a corn-based plastic or sugarcane-based plastic, nylon is extremely abrasion resistant, so it's actually used already in a lot of different types of dog toys. So even if your dog was kind of to chew on this a little bit, the overall construction, the durability looks to be very, very good. And you know, I always advocate that your dog should be supervised regardless when you provide them any type of object, and I would definitely say that I would never leave my dog alone with this, but I'd say that you could feel a bit safer, you know, if like you were gonna, you know, take the garbage out, or if you were gonna be kind of stepping into your garage, or you're gonna be doing something momentarily, which are situations sometimes when you're going to maybe give your dog a chew toy. This can help you feel more comfortable and confident, because you're not going to have to worry about that end point, which is when you're going to be more concerned, like, I need to be there to be supervising my dog to make sure. The other factor that you want to keep in mind, I mean, some people, you know, they're not always the biggest fan of a bully stick because of the respective costs. Bully sticks can be a bit more on the expensive side, especially opposed to, let's say, a synthetic-based chew toy. To me, I think the cost is relative to the value of what you're giving your dog. I think every dog's going to really enjoy bully sticks, and you get nutritional density, they're low in fat, they're good in terms of protein. There's a lot of positives that you get by giving them. So you're spending a little bit more, but some dogs, you'll give them, let's say, a synthetic-based toy, and they could care less about it. They're just like not even interested in it. They don't find it appetizing, they don't find it interesting. You have to have concerns about shards getting ingested in their mouth, and there's a lot of other kind of variables there where I think that you know, the organic-based chews are definitely far outweigh any kind of benefits that, let's say, a synthetic-based chew is going to have. But the reason why I bring that up into comparison is going to be that you kind of have to account that you're potentially always going to be losing about 3 inches. So the most common types of bullies that you tend to usually find on the market are probably going to be 6 inches and then 12 inches. You can get larger ones, especially if they're from steers or from bulls, as opposed to from steers, which is more common where you get your bullies, and those also tend to be thicker. And so if it's like a 6 inch, that means you're losing half, essentially, that bully. So you have to kind of account for that little nub there is kind of being lost in terms of the overall cost investment. But again, you know, I think for anybody that's ever had the experience of their dog potentially kind of having a little bit of a choke point or getting a little bit of a struggle, that's something that you go, the safety is significantly more important to you, because of course the cost of having any type of surgery or vet visits or things like that, you know, you're easily talking of high hundreds of dollars into thousands of dollars, you know, and then that's assuming that everything was to go through okay, and that your dog was able to go through the experience of going to the vet and going through whatever procedure had to occur. So in that regard, you know, it's a minimal thing to say, hey, that couple of dollars is, you know, essentially quote unquote being thrown away, right? So that's just something you have to evaluate as as an overall dog owner. But I think for me, my initial impressions, we'll be doing a longer term review where I'll follow up once we've tried it out with all the dogs. Right now I've just tried it predominantly with Bowie, but like I said, the experience has been positive. I definitely think that this is something that I would recommend to every single dog owner, and you have kind of in your accessory kit of different type of things that you enrich your dog's experience with. And definitely if you have concerns about giving your dog a chew like a bully stick, I think that this significantly reduces the primary reason why you would be concerned. And if that helps you to move over into feeding a much better quality type of chew to your dog, especially if right now what you're giving them is some form of a synthetic based chew, then I unquestionably would recommend this product. So if you guys want to find out more about the Bully Buddy, you can do that by checking out the link in the description below. They just started shipping these at the beginning of October, and they're scaling it out to the largest sizes available. But you know, for like I said, probably the vast majority of people, I think within that 10 to about 60 pound range, you can pretty much get it now and it's available. And you know, I'll also make the statement that if you're probably wondering, are there really other options out there on the market? There's really not. This is very a novel approach in terms of pin. You can find a couple of other companies that do offer something that you can kind of slide a bully through. There is one from Benebone. There's I think from Kong actually has something. There's from Westpaw, who's a fantastic manufacturer, does stuff, also has one, but they're all essentially fixed in terms of their diameter, and they use kind of some form of like a rubber or some type of synthetic material to kind of hold it there in place. And what I generally find is either they're not tight enough and kind of the bully will just slip through and the dog can kind of just pull it out and doesn't really hold well in place. So it doesn't really limit that endpoint nub concern that you kind of have. It's more so maybe about slowing the dog down, which does have benefits, and this also potentially is slowing your dog down. So if that's something you want to do, those can kind of help, but they don't really help in terms of ensuring a safer experience overall. And so this not only helps you in that terms of that slowdown, but it really helps to ensure that you're safeguarding your dog. And you can also adjust for different sizes, which I think is critical. You know, for us, we vary our bully purchasing. Sometimes we go from a really great value proposition at something like Costco, where they've got reasonable thicknesses, and sometimes you get some, I'd say, double thick or some kind of more XL type bully sticks included in there. And then there's ones that we directly purchase where we go with those sticker based options. And this one has been designed to really allow you that flexibility. You can scale up that pretty much the thickest bully sticks that are out there. You could fit this in there, as well as even covering, you know, I'd say the more common thin base bully sticks that are also commonly available. And that's really something that no other type, I'd say, like bully, you know, assist, you know, I'd say protective device that's out there on the market is offering. So in that respect, this is really kind of the only option that is out there, and I think it's actually really well done. So again, if you guys want to find out more about it and actually pick one up, make sure to check out the link in the description below. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, feel free to go ahead and drop that in the comment section below. You know, we finally broke past 300 subscribers. We're now getting ready to get, you know, hopefully in the not too distant future, 350 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for watching the videos, for commenting, for sharing, and for doing all that. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing here on the channel. So thank you guys so much. So while you're down there, please, if you haven't, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the notification bell, like, and share this video out. And as always, take care, take it easy, and don't forget to give your dogs a treat from us.